जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णां जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः।
The Gospel of the Holy Mother, Sri Sharda Devi. Reminiscences and conversations recorded by Swami Arupananda. Place Udbodhan. 1st February 1912. It was about 9:30 in the evening when I went to the Holy Mother. I had not seen her for the whole day. Mother, where have you been the whole day? Disciple, I have been busy with the accounts downstairs. Mother, yes, Prakash told me so. Can anyone who has renounced the world relish these things? Once there was a mistake in the accounts relating to the salary of the master. I asked him to talk to the manager of the temple about it. But he said, "What a shame! Shall I bother myself about accounts?" Once he said to me, "He who utters the name of God never suffers from any misery. No need to speak about you." These are his very words. Renunciation was his ornament. Place Udbodhan. 8th February 1912. A mat used to be spread on the northern side of the room adjacent to the shrine. The Holy Mother used to sit there often in the mornings. Sometimes she would perform japa there facing the east. Whenever we came to talk with the mother, we too would sit there. Today also, the mother was sitting on the mat. Arupananda. Mother, how long did you stay at the Khineshwar? Mother, for a long time. I came when I was 18. Since then, I was always there. Occasionally, I would visit our village home, as when I did to attend the wedding of Ramlal. I would go there every 2 or 3 years. Disciple, were you alone at any time? Mother, yes, on some occasions. My mother-in-law would be there at other times. Sometimes Golap, Gaurdasi and other would stay with me. We cooked, lived and ate all in that tiny room. I used to cook for the master. He had poor digestion, so he could not eat the food offerings from the Kali temple. I had to cook for the devotees of the master. Latu, referring to Swami Adbhutananda, lived with him. Having had a difference with Ramdatta, he had come away. The master said to me, "He is a nice boy. He will need flour for you." Cooking went on day and night. For instance, Ramdatta would come and would shout after getting out of the carriage, "Today I shall have chapatis with gram dal." Then I would at once start cooking. I used to make chapatis out of 3 or 4 sets of flour. When Rakhal lived there, referring to Swami Brahmananda, I often made khichudi for him. The master one day asked me to cook nicely for Noreen, referring to Swami Vivekananda. I prepared some green gram dal and chapatis. When the meal was over, the master asked Noreen, "How did you enjoy the meal?" "Very well," he replied, "but it tasted like sick diet." At this the master said to me, "What sort of stuff have you cooked for him? You must prepare for him thick gram dal and heavy chapatis." Finally, I prepared those things and Noreen was very pleased. Suren Mitra gave 10 rupees a month for the expenses of the devotees. Gopal Senior used to do the shopping. Dancing, devotional music, ecstasy and samadhi went on day and night. I made little holes in the bamboo mat screen so that I could watch through it. As a result of standing there continually, I got this rheumatism at last. After a little pause, the Holy Mother continues. There was an old woman who came often. She had led an impure life. Now in old age, she had become religious. I was alone. So whenever she came, I would talk to her. One day, the master saw this and said, "Why do you allow her here?" I said, "Now she speaks of only good things, talks only of God. What is wrong with it? One's mind cannot be colored always by one's former condition." The master said, "No, no, she is a fallen woman. Why talk with her? However changed she may be, it is better to keep away." He used to forbid me from even speaking with such people, lest their evil influence may affect me. Such was the extreme care he took of me. Once a man came to meet the master at Kamarpukur. He had a bad character. No sooner had he left than the master said, "Throw away a basketful of soil from this place." When no one heeded his words, he himself dug out with a spade some soil from the spot where the man was seated. He said, "Wherever such people sit, even the soil of that place becomes impure." Durgacharan of East Bengal, referring to Nag Mahashoy, would visit him. What great devotion he had for the master! He brought amloki, that is amla, at the time of the master's illness. Since it was not the proper season, he had brought it after a vigorous search for 3 full days, with no thought of food and sleep. Once, I gave him prasada on a leaf plate at the old Bagbaja residence on the bank of the Ganges. Such was his devotion. He ate it leaf and all. He was dark and thin, but his eyes were large and sparkling, eyes of a devotee, always moist with the tears of divine love. In those days, there were many such great devotees. Those who come nowadays simply keep on saying, "Give us the vision of the master." They do no spiritual practice, no japa, no meditation. Lord knows how many wicked things they have done in their past lives. First of all, the evil effects of these wicked acts have to be counteracted slowly and steadily. Suppose the moon is covered by the clouds. Only when the wind gradually takes the clouds away, the moon becomes visible. Do the clouds vanish in the twinkling of an eye? No. Spiritual life also is like that. Karma is exhausted gradually. When one realizes God, He endows one with spiritual illumination within. One becomes aware of it oneself.
यथाग्नेर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हिया यथाग्नेर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हिया सर्वविद्या स्वरूप